Nothing hurts more than watching someone move on quickly after breaking your heart. One moment they made you feel love, they made you promises to you, they acted like you meant the world to them. Then suddenly you found them with someone else. And that's not the painful part of it. The painful part is that they are so happy. They seem so happy. They are smiling. They are posting. They are moving on to public places, posting messages on social media. And why they seem so fine? You are hurting. You are left heartbroken. Then you kept wondering how someone you trusted so much, how someone you loved so much could hurt you so deeply without considering your feelings. Then you start questioning your self-worth. You question the relationship. You question whether it was your fault. You question if you did something wrong. Because when someone moves on quickly, it can make you feel unwanted. It can make you feel replaceable. It can make you feel forgettable. But many times, what most people don't realize is that moving on fast does not always mean they have moved on emotionally. Sometimes people rush into a new relationship because they cannot sit alone with the damage they cause. They look for some sort of distraction to take them off the pain they've inflicted on you. They search for that comfort instead of accountability. They feel that getting someone else to replace you would make them take their mind off you easily. And that's why so many people replace people quickly, but still cannot forget them. Because real love leaves memories behind. No matter how hard they try to escape it, at first it might seem like they've moved on. It might seem they are happy without you. They post pictures, they laugh louder, they go shopping, do things. And in the real sense of it, you start believing like this person actually have moved on. But appearance could be deceptive, Because behind closed doors, silence is a way of bringing memories. Silence has a way of making them realize the void they have within them. Sometimes they hear a song that reminds them of you. Sometimes they remember the way you cared for them. Sometimes they remember the things and the moment you both shared. Sometimes they compare the new person to you without even realizing it, because genuine connection is not fake. Genuine connection is rare to come by. And people often do not recognize something valuable until it is out of their reach. They do not recognize how much of a treasure you were until they realize that it is no longer within their reach. And what happens after then? Nobody else is going to love them the way you did. Not because you were perfect, but because you accepted them wholeheartedly. You gave them genuine love. Nobody understood them the way you did. Then they realized that you were patient. You treated them with respect. You loved them. You cared for them. And that's the painful irony of the whole situation. Now, people often take loyal love for granted. And you know why? Because they feel it's always going to be around. They feel it's always going to be what they can have until one day it stops. And when your energy disappears from their life, they finally feel the emptiness they ignored before. That's when regret begins to grow. Not immediately, not overnight, but slowly. Because eventually, that space you occupied begins to show. The excitement of someone new begins to fade. The temporary attention they try to create for themselves begin to fade away. The emotional space you once occupied begins to open up in their face. And suddenly they begin to remember everything they once overlooked. Your late night conversation, your consistency, your emotional stability, your comfort, your care, your constant encouragement, and a whole lot of things you did that they took for granted. The way you genuinely cared for them when they were very difficult to love. And the more they remember these things, the harder it becomes for them to forget you. And while you are busy crying, while you are busy going through your heartbreak, thinking they've moved on, they are behind closed doors, they are seriously going through pains because they know they've actually lost something very valuable to them. And that's when you see some people return months later, acting confused about what they feel or think about you, because deep down, they know they had lost someone real. But while they were distracting themselves, something else was happening. You were healing slowly, genuinely, painfully, quietly. But the certain thing was you were healing. You started concentrating on yourself. You started rebuilding your confidence. You started learning how to survive without their validation. You started learning how to survive without their constant messages. You started learning how that your comfort and your happiness does not revolve totally around these people. And with time, you changed. The sadness in your eyes began to fade away. The heartbreak became strength. The version of you that they once knew and broke began to patch your pieces together. Now you understand something important. Love should never make you feel disposable. Love should never make you feel empty. Love should never make you question your sanity. Love should never put you in a position where your emotional stability should come into question. And once you finally understand your worth, you stop chasing people who fail to value you. You stop chasing people who did not recognize what you brought to the table. Because now the same person who replaced you quickly is beginning to see and notice your absence more deeply than you ever thought they would. You see those few moments and few months where they acted so fine. They were just trying to distract themselves to see if, with all those things, if they could get their mind off you. And after pretense, and that is the part you see that they begin to find faults in their new partners. Every little thing their partner does begin to irritate them. And suddenly, losing you becomes real. Not because you stop loving completely, but because you finally started loving yourself. And that is when you begin to see so many changes come your way. So if someone replaces you fast, do not let it convince you that you are not important. Sometimes some people move on quickly because they are afraid of facing emotion. They are afraid of actually accepting responsibility. People seek new attention because they do not know how to sit quiet. They do not know how to handle loneliness, and they do not know how to handle regret, and they do not know how to come out and apologize and make things straight. While you were busy thinking they've moved on, they never did. They were actually hurting too.